General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Army Staff, Sri Sanjeev Kumar, Secretary Defense Production, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary Ministry of Earth Sciences, Sri Gurudev Singh, Chairman NTPC, Lieutenant General retired Dushyant Singh, DG Center for Land Warfare Studies, General Dalveer Singh, former Army Chief, General J.J. Singh, former Army Chief, attaches from foreign services and representatives of the diplomatic community, scholars from think tanks and academia, officials of government and armed forces, veterans, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to address this distinguished gathering of officers from the armed forces, representatives of the strategic community, scholars, and experts from think tanks in India and abroad, and leaders from industry. I thank the Indian Army and the Center for Land Warfare Studies for organizing this dialogue and for maintaining the continuity of such an important intellectual forum. This is a platform where the practical experience gained by our Army blends meaningfully with contemporary strategic thinking to shape our future strategies and policies. Friends, we are honored that the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces addressed this year's dialogue and offered her valuable guidance. I think the Honorable President's suggestions will guide and greatly benefit our armed forces. Friends, I had the opportunity to be part of this forum last year as well. At that time, discussions were held that development and security are not separate pursuits. They reinforce each other. That, that thought remains relevant today also. And this year also, we carry that discussions forward with the new theme of this dialogue, reform to transform, Shasakt, Surakshit, and Viksit Bharat. It urges all of us to view reforms not merely as an administrative exercise, but as a driver of the national strength, national security, and a national transformation. The relevance of this platform, and especially of this theme, becomes even more important in the context of the present global scenario and the challenges India faces in its neighborhood. As we reflect on the reforms and the transformation, I feel it is important that we also look at the wider global context in which we all operate. We can easily sense that we are living through a period of the deep geopolitical uncertainty, and the power centers are shifting, new alignments are being tested, and the nature of conflict itself is evolving in ways not seen before. When we look at traditional military domains, they are now intersecting with the cyber space, information, and even cognitive influence. Today, we cannot clearly identify the lines between peace and conflict as clearly as earlier. Friends, economic interdependence, which once gave confidence to the world, now comes with the vulnerabilities in supply chains, digital networks, and the critical technologies. All of this demands sharper awareness, sober judgment, and a sustained preparedness from us. Friends, in this changing global environment, India's place is also undergoing transformation. Our economic growth, technological capabilities, and principled foreign policy have made us a voice of balance and responsibility. Today, India is not standing on the margins of the global discussions. In fact, we are shaping them. And we do so with a sense of responsibility, strategic autonomy, and a confidence rooted in our civilizational values. These days, countries across the Indo-Pacific and the global South look to India as a reliable partner. This trust has not come to us automatically. It has been earned through our consistent stand for respect of sovereignty of nations and the rules-based international order. But as I see India's role growing on the global stage, I am also reminded that our immediate neighborhood continues to demand our careful attention. Friends, India lives in a region where challenges emerge in many forms. Terrorism, cross-border support to extremist elements, attempts to alter the status quo, maritime pressures, and even information warfare. These are complex situations that require constant vigilance and clarity of purpose. Friends, India has always believed in peace and dialogue, and we remain committed to that approach. But let me say clearly, when it comes to our sovereignty and the security of our people, we do not compromise. Our armed forces have shown again and again that they are capable and ready. It is this blend of restraint and the firmness that allows us to manage our neighborhood challenges while contributing to regional stability. Friends, when we look at the global environment and the realities of our neighborhood, our message becomes very clear. We cannot rely on past structures to deal with future challenges. The world is changing too fast, and the nature of threats is becoming too complex. This is why reforms are not a choice of many more. They are a strategic necessity. Reforms strengthen the adaptability of our institutions, enhance the agility of our armed forces, and give the nation the confidence to shape its own destiny. So, when we speak to reform to transform, we are not barely talking about the procedures or policies. We are not talking about our tweaking the status quo. We are talking about preparing India for a new era, when which will transform it into Sashakt, Surakshit, and Viksit Bharat. These three ideas reinforce one another, and we cannot have a Viksit Bharat without a Surakshit Bharat. We cannot have a Surakshit Bharat without a Sashakt Bharat. This is the chain that holds our national aspirations together. But for this chain to hold firm in a changing world, we must build something even deeper within our national character, resilience. Friends, in today's world, I must advocate that resilience has become as important as capability. I believe that a resilient India is one that can absorb shocks, adapt quickly, and continue moving forward to no matter what the circumstances are. Friends, resilience is not limited to defense alone. It spans our economic systems, it extends our critical technologies and the infrastructure that supports them, and it reaches into the social unity that binds us together as a nation. If we build resilience across these three areas of defense, economy, and society, we build a nation that goes from strength to strength. Our true strength, therefore, lies not merely in what we possess, but in our ability to recover, reorganize, and rise stronger than before. Friends, this idea of resilience is not theoretical. It must guide our reforms, our institutions, and our national strategy. And we should focus on these reforms towards building resilience. I am confident that all of you gathered here will carry this thought forward in your discussions today. And when we talk about building resilience, the strongest pillar of that resilience is, without doubt, our armed forces. Friends, whenever we speak of a stronger, safer, and developed India, the first thought that comes to my mind is the role of our armed forces. Their courage, discipline, and commitment from the backbone of our national security. But their contribution goes far beyond defending our borders. Our armed forces bring stability where it is needed most. They support civil authorities in times of disaster. They safeguard our maritime interests. They strengthen our international partnership through joint exercises and the peacekeeping. Their professionalism builds confidence not only within India, but also among our friends around the world. That is why reform and modernization in the armed forces are not just administrative tasks, they are investments in India's long-term future. And when I look at this spirit in our armed forces, I see the same spirit in India's approach to the world. Friends, when India advances on the path of strength, security, and development, the world benefits in several ways. First, a stable India contributes to a stable global economy. Second, India's digital public infrastructure offers a model of inclusive, transparent, and a secure governance for many nations. Third, India's ethical approach to emerging technologies, whether artificial intelligence, cyber, or space, sets standards that others look to. Fourth, our commitment to peace, climate responsibility, and humanitarian values adds moral weight to international cooperation. In this way, friends, a Sashakt, Surakshit, and Vikshit Bharat does not exist in isolation. It becomes a force for good, a nation that strengthens global peace and the human well-being. And to ensure that this positive influence translates into lasting strength, and we are strengthening our national capacities with focused reforms. Friends, the government has been taking consistent steps to ensure that our armed forces are future ready and that our nation moves forward with confidence. We are strengthening border and maritime infrastructure to support both security and connectivity. And we are modernizing our forces through new platforms, technology, and structures. And we are reforming procurement processes to ensure speed, transparency, and accountability. Through Atmanirbharta, we are building a defense industrial ecosystem that encourages innovation, supports industry, and reduces external dependencies. And we are investing in startups, deep tech capabilities, and research and development that will shape the battlefields of the future. And we are ensuring that the interests and the welfare of our soldiers, veterans, and their families remain central to our decision making. Friends, all of these efforts are not isolated actions. Together, they form the foundation for India's long-term security and development. And for these efforts to remain effective, platforms like this provide the necessary space for reflection and course correction. Friends, before I conclude, I want to acknowledge the importance of dialogues like this. Platforms such as the Chanakya Defense Dialogue gives us the space to think deeply, listen to diverse perspectives, and refine our strategic approach. They remind us that national security is not only about strength, it is also about understanding, foresight, and a collective wisdom. And I would like to thank the Indian Army and the CLAJ once again for organizing this important forum and for sustaining its intellectual continuity. I am happy to note that this dialogue has covered a wide range of important topics, ranging from resilient national security, battlefield equalizers, and a civil-military fusion to the character of future wars. These are areas that will shape not only the battlefield of tomorrow, but also the broader national landscape of security and development. I'm confident that the subject matter experts who deliberated on these themes have offered valuable insights, best practices, and constructive recommendations. Their contributions will certainly help us identify the reforms needed to realize our shared vision of Sashakt, Surakshit, and Vikshit Bharat. Friends, I am also confident that the conversations held here will guide our policies and strengthen our resolve as we prepare for the opportunities and the challenges ahead. A Bharat that stands firm in its principle, confident in its capabilities, and ready to contribute to global peace and progress. That is the India we are all working towards. My best wishes to all participants for meaningful and productive discussions in the future as well. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.